the Drunk Mormon Thanksgiving special, so we're gonna do what you can't do at home. Talk about politics and religion. I wish we had some turkey.
Oh, this is the podcast where we drink with the Mormons, strange and peculiar people they may be. Come hear the stories we were taught in our childhood. Come drink and join our eternal family. Come drink and join our eternal family.
Welcome!
Welcome to the Drunk Mormon Podcast.
Welcome back.
This is the podcast where we get drunk and talk about people who never get drunk.
The Mormons!
I'm David John Banks, and I was raised Mormon.
I'm Lauren Sackridge, and I've never been Mormon a day in my life.
And we're your hosts.
Hi.
Each week on this podcast, we teach Lauren... Oh, God.
We get drunk first. We get real drunk.
And then we teach Lauren about Mormonism. Mm-hmm. Stories from the Book of Mormon, stories from church history, interesting, peculiar things that Mormons believe. But this week, we're celebrating Thanksgiving. It's our Thanksgiving holiday special.
It's our Turkey Day special.
Turkey Day special. And we're not alone. Our designated driver is Ashley Puccini, our producer.
I'm here. I'll
Ashley's
make
in
sure
the
that
room.
there's no silliness. Just kidding. No.
And I'm ready to get the ball rolling, except first we have a little bit of business.
Oh, some business.
Business.
What is it?
Well, it's almost the deadline for anybody who wants a Christmas gift.
Yes.
So basically we thought, what would be fun is to send people Christmas gifts, but we can't send everybody Christmas gifts. So we're only going to send people Christmas gifts who subscribe to us on Patreon. Mm-hmm. Any dollar amount, anyone. This is a special Christmas gift for all of our Patreon subscribers. But we need their address from Patreon to do it. So
Go subscribe.
Go subscribe. Send us your address.
Yeah.
We'll send you something in the mail. It'll be worth it.
It will be.
Has anybody written in about the Halloween cards? Because I made some drunk Halloween cards.
Not as of recording this.
Okay.
So this is our fourth episode in what we've been calling No One's Here November. Because actually on this day, when this comes out, Lauren is in Egypt.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm in Utah. But we recorded this long ago. In fact, it is barely November when we're recording this special.
It's true.
Podcast secrets revealed. So I haven't heard back about our Halloween cards yet.
Oh, okay. Well, whoever gets that pumpkin, you let me know.
Also me, because I very much like
Yeah, you weren't there when we made them.
wasn't.
We should have taken pictures of
It
all
was
of them.
tragic.
I am very excited.
I put googly eyes on it.
But that's all I have business-wise, because it's a holiday and I don't really feel like working.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the refreshment. And Lauren, you
I brought cocktails today.
said you wanted to do a Thanksgiving cocktail, and I honestly don't know what it is.
I did. Okay. So for Thanksgiving and the fall, I feel like nobody really thinks about tequila. And so that's what we're going to drink tonight.
Ooh,
Yes.
I like tequila.
I found a autumnal tequila beverage, which I didn't think was possible. And I have a recipe. I haven't actually made it myself, so we're going to kind of wing it. It's
Great.
called a manzarita.
Ooh.
And this is how you make it. So I will say right up front, one of the key ingredients is apple cider, but when I went to the grocery store today, I could only find apple juice, which is definitely not the same.
Right.
So instead, I opted to get hard apple cider,
Great.
which I don't think is part of the menu, but it will get us drunk. So
I mean, it's on brand.
it's apple cider.
Hashtag Team Trashy.
Hashtag Team Trashy. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do, you cut in a lemon in half, and then you cut it into quarters. So throw that in your shaker.
Ooh,
Oh wow. So you put the whole half of it in.
Yeah.
got it. This is, I think, the most elaborate thing we've made.
It might be.
And then you add a pinch of ground cinnamon for that autumnal twist. And you muddle those together.
Ooh.
It already looks really cool, just with the cinnamon on top, and now it's like.
Yeah. Then you add 2 ounces of silver tequila. And then 1 ounce of elderflower liqueur.
Ooh.
Ooh, we we like this one.
This is good stuff. We've used this before.
Yeah. And then you throw in the apple cider. And again, it's supposed to be apple cider. And because I couldn't find that, I'm using hard apple cider, which I don't think is the way to do it, but...
And then how much of this?
1.5 ounces. Yeah.
It looks very autumnal.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then you strain over ice.
Awesome.
And then garnish with the cinnamon stick.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, they look super tasty. Should we give it a shot?
Yeah, here's hoping. Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh.
I don't hate it.
Huh.
Ooh, this turned out way better than I thought it would.
It's like pretty good.
I'm true. We're all truly shocked
I am very thankful
that this worked out.
that this worked. Well, one of the things we're thankful for as a podcast is that Ashley's gone through her last session of chemo.
Yeah.
So let's toast to your health.
Oh, yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
To your health.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I feel healthier already.
I don't. Let's get drunk.
Let's get drunk. Give me your cup. Give me your cup.
That was my cup.
There is your
my
cup. But I guess one night I was super drunk in public and we got in a fight and I just yelled, "You dick wiggling motherfucker."
I think there is value in believing in things you can't prove whether they're real.
Oh, sure.
I think that's really important
I
for
think
people
it's
to believe in
beautiful,
things.
yeah.
For some people, it's Jesus.
Yeah.
For some people, it's tarot. For some people, it's like, I know, I promise, this is the diet that works. Wink.
Right.
So, I mean, God bless Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, there was like this whole campaign that was like, you gotta squeeze your Kegels and make them stronger. And people would be like, I'm doing it right now.
Kegels.
Yeah.
It's empowering.
You gotta squeeze it. I'm practicing right now. You never saw that commercial?
I don't know how to squeeze a vagina. Yep.
Actually, once I blacked out in college, and it was in college my senior year, and it was during Hurricane Irene. And at one point, I left the party, and no one knows where I went. I disappeared for like an hour and a half. And when I came back, I was bleeding from the mouth and smoking 2 cigarettes.
Lauren, I have
Yeah.
a question for you.
Yes.
It's our Thanksgiving special. What is the thing you definitely don't talk about at Thanksgiving?
Politics.
Politics is one of them.
Okay, good. Hold on, I got another one. We never talk about how we pushed off the Native Americans and
I mean, that too.
murdered everybody.
That too. I'm thinking of something that starts with an R.
Religion, politics or religion.
We never talk about politics and religion. So today's episode is about politics and religion.
Yeah.
The best.
We're
If
just
you
diving
can't
right
do
in.
it at your family table,
And
you can do it here.
as I think is our new tradition for holiday specials, the whole episode is sort of an activity.
Oh,
the
yes.
best.
I want to take one pause before we start this activity and just bring up again that everybody, including myself, doubted that these drinks were going to be good when I pulled out all this stuff. And the drinks are good. So please put that on the podcast. I can make a good cocktail.
It's really good.
Thank you.
To help with today's episode, I'm going to introduce a new device that might come back in future episodes.
Okay.
It's our activity jar.
Ooh!
So it's a big giant mason jar and it's decorated with a ribbon that's tied in a bow.
It's so nice.
And often in Mormon activities, whether in church or with your family, there will be mason jars that have slips of paper inside them. And what is inside this giant mason jar?
Slips of paper!
Slips of paper. Each of these slips of paper has a specific topic that has to do with Mormons and politics. And so you're going to draw one out, you're going to read it, and then we're going to explain it.
Oh my god! How fun!
I've
Okay.
never seen somebody open a mason jar like that.
Like
Out the
how?
lid and turn the bottle.
Bum, bum, bum.
Oh, what is this?
Ooh! The U.S. Constitution.
There we go.
Dun, 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 dun. So Mormons love the United States Constitution.
It's a great document.
Everybody loves the United
Yeah.
States. If you don't, then what are you? Nobody.
England.
So there's something you should know,
Yeah.
which is that Mormons believe the United States Constitution is divinely inspired.
It's true. They do.
What does that mean?
That means that Mormons believe that the Constitution's formation and when it was written, that the men who made the Constitution were inspired by God in how they made it and what they wrote.
Huh.
And Mormons believe that this country, the United States of America, was specifically sort of set aside and preserved. They believe Christopher Columbus was inspired to discover it. And they believe that the founding fathers were all inspired by God to start
Here's
this
the
country.
thing, because before this podcast, I'd be like, what? But as we know, the founding fathers were always Mormon because they got baptized Mormon after they died. So, where am I going with this? So therefore, they retroactively had the priesthood because they're more than 12 years old, and then God is inspiring. I believe this.
You bear your testimony.
I bear my testimony.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, many of them were also atheists, but Mormons believe that they were inspired by God and they just didn't know, and they made the Constitution.
But couldn't you say that of literally anything?
You could, except it's mentioned in the Doctrine and Covenants.
Oh.
So Joseph Smith revealed some stuff about the Constitution.
What did he say?
He said, quote, this is God supposedly talking, quote, "And for this purpose I have established the Constitution of this land by the hands of wise men whom I raised up unto this very purpose and redeemed the land by the shedding of blood." That's from Doctrine and Covenants, section 101, verse 80.
Oh man, hindsight's 2020. I don't
So that's what you should know about the U.S. Constitution. Mormons believe that it is inspired by the Mormon God.
Yeah, but how did they feel when Nick Cage stole it?
He stole the Declaration of Independence.
Oh right. I never actually watched that movie.
It's actually a fun one.
Is it really?
Especially when you're drunk.
Let's watch it right
Should we watch
now.
that movie? I think I like Nick Cage.
Movie night.
Go ahead and pull another paper out of the jar.
Joseph Smith ran for president. Joseph Smith ran for president of the United States
Yeah.
of America.
Yes.
How did he not win?
Well,
How did this guy not win?
so here's
Who did
the
he run
thing.
against?
In 1838,
Uh-huh.
the governor of Missouri, Governor Boggs, signed that extermination order. Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Which is basically, you are
can
allowed
kill
to shoot a
Mormons.
Mormon on sight. Joseph Smith travels to Washington and meets with President Martin Van Buren. And he's like, "Hey, Marty,
Not cool, bro.
can you help us out here? This feels maybe like a bad thing. I don't
Yeah.
know." And according to Joseph Smith's descendant, I think his grandson maybe, according to Joseph Smith's grandson, Martin Van Buren was like, "My hands are tied. I can't help you because if I help you, I'm going to lose the vote in Missouri and I'm running for re-election."
I do kind of believe that, but also was Joseph Smith's grandson there?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Good point.
So Joseph Smith decides, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to run for president. And he runs for president in the 1844 election.
How does it go?
He ran on a platform that included certain items, like he wanted to pursue the redemption of slaves by selling public land and reducing size and salary of Congress. He wanted to promote the closure of prisons. He was,
Look at this guy's
That sounds great.
and he's invested in the annexation of Texas, Oregon, and parts of Canada. So, like, let's claim those lands for the U.S., which is like, maybe that's okay. I don't know. And he was also really interested in reestablishing a national bank.
Huh.
Brigham Young, his like the bro in his pocket, was like, quote, "He it is that God of heaven designs to save this nation from destruction and preserve the Constitution," end quote. Yeah, well, he's an asshole.
And he
so.
ran against Van
And
Buren.
he ran against Martin Van Buren.
How did he do?
Well, the campaign ended when he was shot and murdered in Carthage jail.
Oh my god!
So when Joseph Smith was murdered,
How was he doing?
running for president at the time. They didn't have.
How were the exit polls?
They didn't have exit polls.
Someone, please tell me. Oh my god!
We'll have to
What
come
if
back
he
to
had
this
won?
for another episode. It would have been.
Could you freaking imagine? We'd all be Mormon.
We'd all be Mormon.
I'll be Mormon.
Jesus would already be here.
God.
Wow.
It'd be like 100 years in a 1,000-year peace by now.
Right?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, want to pull another paper? What?
Is this? I don't want to know about this. The Republican Party. I'm gonna guess good.
So,
Mormons think good job.
this is where we come in with the official political position of the Mormon Church.
Yeah.
And according to the official Mormon Church resources, they say that the Mormon Church does not endorse any specific political party. There's a misconception, which you might remember from our game on the first episode, that Mormons are
Truth or
supposed to
false
be
witness.
Republican.
Yeah.
They're not. They can be any party they want.
Right.
The official PR position is that the principles of Christ can be found in any political party. Which has sort of led to this kind of like drama about the Mormon Church saying, we are politically neutral. Which I'm sure we'll come back to, this concept of, is the Mormon Church politically neutral? But they don't endorse a specific party.
Okay.
That being said, Mormons are more Republican than any other religion. In 2014, they did a survey. 70% of Mormons identified as Republican. 70%.
In what year?
2014.
Huh.
Mormons in Utah vote Republican 30 points higher than the national average. And in 2012, almost 90% of Mormons in Utah, almost 90% of Mormon Utah voters voted for Mitt Romney. Which makes sense because he's Mormon
He's
and
Mormon.
Republican.
Yeah. We saw his garments.
Yes.
That's who we Googled.
Yeah.
Mitt Romney.
Mormons are stereotypically Republican now, but they were once the enemy of the Republican Party.
Go on. Yeah, freaking Joseph Smith's
Yeah.
party. The party of the people.
Joseph Smith
The party of the...
Joseph Smith ran for president as an independent.
Yeah.
The Republican Party was formed in the 1850s, and in 1856 they published their party platform, which included, quote, "to prohibit in the territories those twin relics of barbarism, polygamy and slavery."
Whoa! Republican Party coming in hot.
And like the only people who were polygamous at the time were Mormons.
They're basically like, to bring down taxes, also fuck Joseph Smith, and then
Free the slaves.
free the slaves.
Yeah, and in fact, Mormons had to stop the practice of polygamy in order for Utah to be recognized as a state.
Well,
But did they stop?
didn't they stop because God told them not to? Remember when
Well,
those two women in the
conveniently.
Beehive House were like, yeah, he felt really bad about it.
Yeah, well, go ahead and pick out another paper.
Wow. Guys, I'm gonna do this on my Thanksgiving with my family.
With the
This
same
is
ones?
fun. Prop 8.
Oh gosh.
Ooh.
Oh, this is a tough one.
So this
Which
is
one is Prop 8?
Prop 8 was a legislation in California, in the state of California, posed to eliminate the rights of same-sex couples to get married. Do you remember back in 2008 when California was voting on gay marriage?
Yeah.
And it was Prop 8, and it passed, which made gay marriage illegal.
Illegal?
Mm-hmm. Which later...
That passed here?
That did pass. And it's because of the Mormon Church.
Mm-hmm. What?
So, here's just some facts. On both sides, so people who are for Prop 8 and people against. And remember, for Prop 8 means for straight marriage. Only straight marriage. Mm-hmm. So people for and against Prop 8 spent $106 million on that campaign.
What?
Mm-hmm.
$106 million
For people not to get married.
for people you don't know not to get married? You
Well,
know what
also-
$106 million could fix?
Right?
A lot.
A lot.
Though some of that money was people opposing it as well. So that's everybody. All the money spent to campaign for and against this campaign was $106 million. The LDS Church publicly supported the proposition. Mm-hmm. Remember we talked about...
We said they weren't political. Now they are.
So they don't support any particular party, but I guess sometimes they jump in on a specific political issue. And remember, back at the beginning of November, we learned that they have interfered with the legalization of marijuana in Utah. Well, back in 2008, the LDS Church was real invested in making sure gay people couldn't get married in California. They sent out a letter to be read in every congregation in California. Every single Mormon congregation in California read this letter, which said, quote, "Do all you can to support the proposed constitutional amendment by donating of your means and time."
Oh my God.
And like, this is the prophet, right? So if you believe and the prophet's like, you need to do this, it's not really a choice. Like, you're gonna do it.
Right.
So people were donating their time, they were phone banking, they were giving money.
People from Utah were doing it.
They broadcast. So like, they did a video and they broadcast it to California Mormons to explain their grassroots plan to support the proposition.
What?
Mm-hmm. And in congregations, people were given callings to run phone banks or canvass neighborhoods. Like, it was like, hey, the prophet wants you to do this. God wants you to do this. Will you accept this assignment?
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
So local church leaders are setting organizational and monetary goals. Sometimes they got really specific. And Mormons contributed over $20 million.
Oh my God. What a fucking colossal waste of fucking time.
40,
This is crazy.
Yeah, right, because it's legal, right?
Right.
Also, like, why was this ever like a thing? Do you know people are voting on the ballot about whether or not we're gonna end daylight savings time?
Right.
Like, who the fuck cares about that? Like, save some refugees, donate to a homeless shelter. Like, why the fuck are we voting on daylight savings time? Why was this ever a thing? This is crazy.
There was a website called protectmarriage.org, which was sort of like the main website supporting the proposition. 45% of out-of-state donations came from Utah,
Holy shit.
which was over 3 times more than any other state. The same site estimated half of their total donations came from Mormons. And 80 to 90% of the volunteers for door-to-door canvassing were Mormon.
I have a question. Is this on top of tithing? Like,
Yes.
are you paying 10% and then paying more money for, like...
So the 10% is for God, and then anything else you're paying is because you hate the idea of gay people getting married. So in 2008, guess where I was?
BYU.
I was at Brigham Young University. I was in college. I was not a resident of California, so I only heard about this happening kind of like whisperedly. But what happened was there was a night where all of the California students were called for a special fireside.
Oh, wow.
Where the university and the church leadership basically were like, hey, you're a California resident, which means you are the people we can ask to legally contribute to phone banking. So here at the university in Utah, where you're studying to get your higher education, we're going to set up some phone banking and some efforts so you can contribute. And we're going to ask you what kind of require you to participate in contributing to phone banking and other promotion of the passing of Prop 8. So when I was at school, a year into coming to terms with my sexuality, the entire university was supporting the oppression of gay marriage.
Oh my God.
And Prop 8 passed. And gay marriage was illegal in California. It was eventually overturned, but because of the Mormon church, it passed. A fun thing, though, is that a couple years later in 2010, the Mormon church was fined.
Really?
Because they failed to follow campaign disclosure policies.
Oh, wow.
During the last 2 weeks of the campaigning, which had amounted to $37,000 in non-monetary contributions.
What does that mean?
It means that they didn't disclose $37,000 worth of people's like donated time and resources.
Oh, okay.
And the Mormon church was fined a little over $5,000.
Gosh.
So, a little slap on the wrist.
A little slap on the wrist there.
Yeah, and don't worry. In 2016, the Mormon church started pulling the same shit in Mexico.
In Mexico?
Mm-hmm. They sent a
what?
letter to be read to over 2,000 congregations in Mexico to say, hey, be careful, don't let them legalize gay marriage in your country.
What?
So they're still fighting hard against the gay marriage thing.
It doesn't make sense to me why. It has nothing to do... I mean, I actually do understand why, but I think their logic is all wrong.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Should I pick another one?
Yeah, pick another paper.
Oh, that was a heavy one.
Sound like Joseph Smith for president. These are the shirts we should make.
Oh my gosh.
Whew! Utah State Legislature.
Ooh.
So, Mormons, as we've talked about, sometimes do dabble in politics.
A tidbit.
Yeah, well, at least the leadership of the Mormon church.
Uh-huh.
And in Utah, where the Mormon church is headquartered, they have a little bit of sway over the legislation passed for that state. Mm-hmm. You could argue that they interfere with local government to promote their specific agendas or beliefs. One of the reasons why you would think this is because 80% of Utah's legislature is Mormon, which means their choices, their belief systems, their worldview is going to be informed by their religion. It's also interesting to know that, and this isn't like commonly known, this is me trusting someone who worked in the Utah legislature who sort of like revealed their story, that the church has full-time paid lobbyists. So basically, anytime something's going through Utah House of Representatives or something, there's these church lobbyists who show up and say, hey, so the church leadership would prefer that this is passed, or the church leadership would prefer that you vote no on this issue. You can vote however you feel. We're just letting you know that the prophet of God would prefer you vote no.
Do they like pay them?
Yeah,
The lobbyists are paid, yeah.
that's
It's
their
their
job.
job.
Do they pay the other people?
No, it would be illegal to pay
Oh.
the Utah representatives. So it's like this weird pressure.
Yeah.
Also, if you're a Mormon state rep, and let's say the lobbyists come and say, you should probably vote yes on this. And you're like, no, I feel like I'm going to vote no. I don't think this is a good thing. The Mormon church might contact your local bishop. And
Get you excommunicated!
No.
Oh.
They might contact your local bishop, and then your bishop's going to call you and say, hey, I feel like you should vote yes on this. So suddenly you're getting pressure from church to do your like job, which is to represent your jurisdiction, not to represent the Mormon Church Corporation. So they're like very, 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 like it's It's sort of folklore, but also like there's tons of anecdotal evidence that the Mormon church leadership really weighs in on the legislation that passes and kind of controls what laws are passed for the state of Utah.
Also, I'm pretty sure I know one of the church lobbyists, and he's a fucking dick.
I believe it. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Lauren, go ahead and pull out that last paper in the jar.
Okay.
What does it say?
Abortion.
Abortion.
How do the Mormons feel about abortion? I'll get some guess.
What's your guess?
Not great.
So it's true. Mormons are among the most anti-choice of any religion, according to surveys and studies. And part of that is because Mormons really believe in the pre-existence.
Oh, right.
And so a baby that's unborn, they're like, oh, well, that was the soul that came to earth to be born, and now it's being denied its chance to have a mortal body.
But don't you just go in a fun heaven? Fun limbo?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But so here's where it's a little nuanced. In cases of rape or when the pregnancy threatens the life of the mother, Mormons are actually the most pro-abortion of any religion.
Whoa!
Isn't that weird?
Nuanced.
So there you go. That one's quick. That's just their position on
Yeah.
it.
Well, that's interesting. I was
Yeah.
gonna say that's good, but I feel like nobody wants to be like, oh, that's good abortion. Like,
Yeah. Almost like reassuring, like, okay, at least we're not like a blanket statement.
in this one thing though.
That's
Everything else we're pretty blankety.
So it's interesting because when you are young and growing up in the Mormon church, you're always thought, oh, they're politically neutral. And then you start to realize, oh no, actually they participate a lot in politics and they really try and influence politics to align with their specific belief system and social agenda and what's convenient for them. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I'm like upset. I feel like when we started this, it was all fun and seer stones.
Well, that's
and
what you
Joseph
think.
Smith.
That's what you think when you're hanging out with your family and you bring
Yeah.
up Bernie Sanders supporting maternity leave, paid maternity leave, and then suddenly you're fucking crying on the stairs yelling at your dad.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. So, let's set religion and politics aside.
Okay.
And I think for our Thanksgiving special, let's go around and talk about what we're thankful for.
Okay.
Because it is Thanksgiving.
It is Thanksgiving.
I'll start. I am thankful for this podcast. It's easy, it's cheesy, but it's true. I got laid off from my job right before we actually started doing this podcast, and it saved me from feeling depressed and lost. It gave me something to work on, something to care about, something to focus my energy when I wasn't sure what to do with my life. And here we are, 28 episodes in, still going strong, having a great time.
Yeah.
Lauren, you and I like worked together, but we weren't friends before
No.
this.
We did not hang out by ourselves.
And
at
actually,
all.
this has maintained our relationship.
It's true.
And so I feel like this has been a really great thing. And we've heard really wonderful things from people who listen.
Yeah.
People who express that they are thankful that we're doing this because it's helpful to talk about something like Mormonism in such a casual setting.
Yeah.
Because so many people are very, very pro or very, very anti. And here at the Drunk Mormon podcast, we don't give a shit. We're just here for a good drink and a good time and a good story.
Yeah.
And I am really grateful that we've made it this far and that it's been such a wonderful experience for me.
Yeah.
Lauren, what are you
Oh,
thankful
that was
for?
a good one. No one's gonna want to make shit next to it.
It's okay.
Okay. I am thankful. It's kind of similar to what you're saying. I am thankful. In 2016, I had a really bad year and I almost left LA. And since then, I've gotten to meet so many new and fun people and to like strengthen my relationships with the people that I had already known out here. And I feel like I got like a restart. Like I got to reinvest in my friendships and make new friendships, and they feel kind of like brand new now. And I'm just really happy for them.
That's awesome.
And that was to you guys and also all of the friends that don't listen to the podcast. Who we know could learn.
I think mine's kind of obvious.
What?
I'm done with chemo and I'm very grateful for that. But even more than that, I'm actually very grateful for some really, really good doctors who believed me when I said something was wrong. And who didn't stress me out by saying, this is what it is. They were very good at being like, we're just going to look into it a little bit more.
Sure.
And they kept me calm the whole time, and I'm very grateful for that. So,
That's wonderful.
yeah.
That is wonderful.
I'm thankful for my dog.
That's
You have a good
one.
dog.
He's so great.
I've had my
You're a good
dog
dog.
for 6.5 years, and I got him. It's like the cliche thing, like he rescued me, but I got him because I was in a really bad place and I needed something to sort of invest in and have a loving relationship with, and we're still together, and I'm really glad that he's in my life.
I'm also grateful for your dog because your dog has taught my dogs really good habits. Like go pee on command, and when they do naughty things, they go to their bed.
Oh,
Yeah.
Should I get a dog?
I mean, should we go right now?
Should we go right now? Can I Postmates a dog?
I'm sure you can.
And I'm also really, really thankful for our friends who have supported us on our podcast journey so far.
Yeah.
Yeah!
And I honestly didn't plan this. We haven't warned anyone, but why don't we just like call some of our podcast friends and thank
a
them
great
personally?
Yes!
Why don't we call our first guest we've ever had on the podcast, Livia?
Oh, yeah! Oh,
I don't know if she'll answer.
I'm so excited for this.
I'm so nervous.
this is really cute.
I don't think drunk dialing is so stressful.
It means you're not drunk enough.
Hello.
Hey, Livia, this is DJB. We're currently recording for the Drunk Mormon podcast, and I have you on speaker. And we're
Hi!
we're recording our Thanksgiving special.
I was like, why would DJB call me? He never calls me. Where you text?
We're recording our Thanksgiving episode, and we just wanted to tell you that we're so thankful for you and your friendship, and that you've been a part of our journey so far.
Yeah, and your funny stories, and your great drink.
Oh. Thank you, guys. I'm really thankful for your podcast too. We love listening to it. It's like a really good outlet for a lot of feelings and a lot of learning.
Oh, good. So we just wanted to call you surprisingly while we're drunk and send you a lot of love.
Oh, love you guys. Keep
Love
up the good work. You guys do so good.
Okay, we're gonna hang up on you now and call more people. Bye.
That was perfect.
Who else can we call?
Let's call Lauren Laws. She was funny. Oh, we had Dirty Cola.
We did. We had Dirty Cokes.
Dirty Cokes. It was great. Posted a funny Facebook status the other day. She asked for like, you remember Keaton and Kel, where at the end of Keaton and Kel, he'd be like, grab a toothpick and a talking squirrel and a shovel.
What? Please leave voicemail or send me a text message and I'll get back to you as soon as I
That's what
can.
it
Thanks.
was like.
Bye. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you
We're
may
getting
hang up
so many
or press 1
voicemails.
for more
That's
options.
good.
To leave a callback number, press
I'm not
5.
leaving a callback number. She has caller
I
ID.
don't know who it is. Hi!
This is the Drunk Mormon podcast. We're recording our Thanksgiving special, and we wanted to call people that we're thankful for.
We're really thankful for you.
Super thankful.
Yeah, the DJB was before, but I really liked meeting you. I thought you were really fun.
So we just wanted to send you our love.
Bye. I feel like we need to work on that transition. Who's this?
This is Sully.
Oh.
I don't know if he'll answer. I haven't called him in a year. He might not answer. We'll just leave a
We'll leave a
voicemail.
message.
Hello. You've reached Michael Sullivan's cell phone. Sorry I missed your call.
This
If you
sounds
leave
so
your name,
professional.
phone number, and a brief message, I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as possible.
We will leave a long
Thank you.
ass message. You're welcome. Sully.
Bye.
The Drunk Mormon Podcast.
Hey.
We're recording our Thanksgiving special, and we decided we wanted to call people we were thankful for.
We're thankful for you.
So thankful.
We're thankful for you, and that
We're thankful for the best surprise entrance I think this podcast has ever had.
Yeah.
And also,
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Well, that's a good one. We should do this more often. This is so fun. Mm-hmm. You should tell people that you're thankful for them more often.
Anyway, that's our lesson.
Great lesson.
That's our
and our
Thanksgiving
activity.
special.
That was a great.
This was so fun.
I love doing holiday episodes.
Yeah, this is a blast.
We should do another one real soon.
We should. If you're thankful for things, and especially if you're thankful for this podcast, feel free to leave us a review on iTunes. We love them. We're going to read some more soon. And if you want to weigh in, if we got something wrong, if we missed something, feel free to drop us an email at drunkmormonpodcast@gmail.com or slide into our DMs, Instagram and Twitter at drunkmormonpod. You can see our Thanksgiving family photo there on Instagram. If you want to support the show and get a Christmas gift, you can go to patreon.com/drunkmormonpodcast. You can also find the link in our Instagram bio. Other than that, though, I'm David John Banks.
I'm Lauren Sackwich.
And I'm Ashley Pacini.
And now we bid unto all
Farewell. In the name of the turkey they pardon last minute, amen.